Welcome back to the Debt Sucks podcast. I'm Ben Matthews, bankruptcy attorney and unofficial relationship referee for couples who swear they're arguing about dishes when it's really about Discover Card. I've seen more marriages held together by duct tape and minimum payments than most marriage counselors. And today we're diving into non-negotiable number 3 of the True Wealth Playbook, relationship stability. Or as I like to call it, we're not fighting about money anymore, wealth, because let's be honest, money fights are never really about money. They're about pressure, they're about fear, they're about that quiet panic when the card gets declined and nobody makes eye contact. They're about mistrust when one person is spending and the other is stressing. Resentment that builds when nobody feels safe enough to say, hey, I'm scared, we're not okay. And instead of talking about it, we step about Amazon boxes, we argue about takeout, we side-eye each other over $4 coffee like it's a federal crime. Because when money feels unstable, everything feels unstable. And that's why relationship stability is a non-negotiable in the Debt Sucks plan. Because financial peace isn't just about spreadsheets. It's about being able to sit on the same couch, look at the same bank account, and not feel like opponents in a cage match. That's real wealth. Let's talk about how to build it. Before we can fix relationship stability, we've got to acknowledge what financial instability actually looks like up close. And trust me, I get a front row seat to it every day. In my office, couples never actually say we argue constantly. Nobody leads with that. They'll say we've just been stressed, or money's tight, or the classic, we're fine. And when people say we're fine, we are absolutely not fine. But I can see it, because what I'm watching isn't arguing out loud. It's tension with a pulse. It's the lack of eye contact, the careful wording, the tight nods that say, I have thoughts, but I'm not opening that door in public. Nobody's raising their voice, but the silence is loud. That's the thing about money stress. Couples don't always fight in front of me, but you can feel it sitting in the room with us. Because here's what I see from the front row of the financial Hunger Games. One spouse won't even look at the other while talking about bills. Eye contact, gone. It's like staring directly at the sun. Too dangerous. They're choosing words carefully, like they're walking through a financial minefield in flip-flops. Because one wrong sentence, and boom, we're fighting about 2017 again. And the second money comes up, the whole room temperature changes. Shoulders tighten, postures shift. One starts talking faster, like if they hurry, they can outrun the anxiety. The other goes completely silent, which, by the way, is never peaceful. That silence is very loud. You can hear the stress breathing. And nobody says what they're actually feeling because the real words are too raw. So instead, couples start communicating in code. Some people spend without thinking. Translation, I'm scared we're sinking. Some people worry about everything. Translation, I feel judged every time I swipe a card. That's not communication. It's emotional Morse code. ... resentment. And when it goes on long enough, people stop talking altogether. They start hiding purchases. One's ordering Amazon packages at 11:07 p.m. like it's a covert government operation, then deleting receipts like they're wiping fingerprints off a crime scene. Meanwhile, the other is refreshing the bank account 14 times a day, not to check the balance, but to check for evidence. $62 at Target. That's interesting. Very interesting. At that point, money isn't a tool anymore. It's a third person in the relationship, and not a friendly third person either. More like an unwanted roommate who eats your groceries, tracks your spending, and starts fights right before bedtime. That's what financial stress does. It doesn't just drain accounts, it drains safety. And when safety goes, connection usually goes with it. That's why the Debt Sucks world relationship stability isn't soft work. It's survival work. Relationship stability isn't about perfect finances. It's about getting back on the same page. It's the moment when panic stops running the meeting and we're screwed turns into, okay, what's the plan? That shift, that's where real wealth starts showing up. Because true wealth creates space for relationships to heal. I've had couples sit in my office barely speaking, answering questions like they're being deposed. 6 months after cleaning up the financial mess, they're laughing again, holding hands in the lobby. Not because I'm a miracle worker, but because the financial anvil sitting on their chest finally got lifted. Turns out it's a lot easier to like each other when you're not suffocating under credit card debt and overdraft fees. Quick gut check. No overthinking here. Ask yourself, is this usually true for us? We avoid talking about money because it turns into tension fast. One of us is way more stressed about money, and it shows. We've hidden purchases, bills, or financial worries. Money talks only happen when something goes wrong. It feels like we're reacting, not planning, and definitely not on the same team. Now here's the important part. If you said yes to two or more, that doesn't mean your relationship is broken. It means money pressure is driving the bus right now. And when fear is driving, nobody feels safe. That's not a character flaw. That's not a love problem. That's a system problem. And system problems require system solutions. Not shame, not blame, and not another courtroom reenactment about who spent $86 at Target like it's evidence in a felony trial. So let's just say the quiet part out loud. Money conversations with your partner are terrifying. Not because of the numbers. Not because of what might happen when you say them out loud. You're not scared of the Visa bill. You're scared it turns into World War III. You're scared they'll judge you. You're scared it means something's broken. But after sitting with hundreds of couples, here's what I can tell you. The silence is always worse than the conversation. Silence is where resentment rents an apartment, where assumptions turn into facts, where two people who love each other start feeling like roommates with a joint checking account. So let's talk about breaking that silence, debt suck style, without lighting the house on fire. Start phrases that don't start fights. How you open the conversation determines whether this becomes teamwork or a cage match. Instead of, you spend like we're rich, try, I've been feeling anxious about our spending and I want us to look at it together. One is blame, one is vulnerability. Blame puts people in defense mode. Vulnerability puts people in connection mode. And here are a few more that work. I'm worried about our finances and I don't want to carry that alone. I don't think we're on the same page and I want us to be. Can we look at this together before it gets bigger? Lead with I and we, not you and always, because nobody has ever felt inspired to talk after hearing you're the problem. Money date night. Yes, it's a real thing. Once the doors open, you've got to protect the conversation. So enter money date night. And no, this is not the kitchen table ambush at 10:47 p.m. when everyone's tired and defensive. Here's the play. Schedule it like it matters, because it does. Change locations, coffee shop, patio, anywhere that doesn't smell like old arguments. And start human, not financial. How are you feeling lately goes further than, where did $312 go? Then keep it simple. 1, share feelings, no interrupting. 2, look at the numbers, no blaming. 3, agree on one small step. Not a 10-year plan, not a financial TED Talk. Just one win before the next check-in. And end it like adults who actually like each other. Acknowledge the progress, schedule the next one, go back to being partners, not opponents. Because the goal isn't perfect finances, it's sitting on the same side of the table again. What actually works. Do not have this conversation when you're hungry, exhausted, or mid-financial heart attack. And definitely don't open with it 5 minutes after discovering a surprise credit card charge. You need both people calm, regulated, and not ready to flip a table. Avoid these landmines. Digging up the past. Remember that $3,000 thing? Yeah, they remember. Still not helpful. Scorekeeping. Well, I've been responsible. Cool. I mean, this isn't the financial Olympics. Avoid character attacks. You're irresponsible. You're cheap. You're discussing behaviors, not issuing personality diagnosis. Fixing everything in one sitting. You're not solving 5 years of chaos before dessert arrives. Create psychological safety. Your partner needs to know honesty won't get them cross-examined like a hostile witness. If they say, I'm scared about money, you don't say, you should be. You say, tell me more. How can I help? Curiosity beats criticism every time. And have an exit strategy. If things get heated, call a timeout. I need a breather. Can we come back in 30? Then actually come back. No emotional ghosting. See, this isn't about fixing everything overnight. It's not about blame. It's about reconnection. Money is one of the most intimate parts of a relationship. When you can't talk about it, you shut down a huge piece of emotional trust. But when real conversations start happening, not logistics, real talk, something shifts. You see their fears, their wiring, their hopes. They see yours. That's the win. Not a perfect budget, not zero debt. Connection, partnership, team energy. The money improves after that, not before. So start small. Use a starter phrase. Schedule a money date night. Show up honest. Because you're not enemies trying to win. You're partners trying to build. And that changes everything. Because here's what I know after almost 20 years of doing this work. Relationship stability isn't about who's better with money. It's about removing the chaos so you can talk without your nervous system filing for bankruptcy. When finances calm down, trust finally has oxygen. Conversations stop sounding like hostage negotiations. Every problem stops feeling like a 5-alarm fire. And that's when real repair starts. You know what's wild? I've had clients tell me filing bankruptcy, the thing everyone thinks is the end of the world, actually saved their marriage. Not because bankruptcy's magical, but because it ended the constant crisis. It gave them breathing room, space to sit on the same couch again and look at each other like partners, not financial enemies in a custody battle over the checking account. Let me say this part real clear, because people need to hear it. If your finances are poisoning your relationship, that's not a side issue. That's not a we'll get to it later. That's a deal breaker. Because money stress never stays in the budget. It leaks everywhere. Your tone, your patience, your parenting, your sleep, your connection, your sex life. Yeah, I said it. Your ability to enjoy literally anything without a storm cloud overhead. True wealth isn't just protecting numbers, it's protecting the people you're building your life with. Because what's the point of financial success if the relationship didn't survive the climb?
Hey, let's get real for a sec. The Debt Sucks plan, it's awesome. It works. But not everyone has the time or the patience to chip away at their financial Mount Everest. Maybe you're drowning right now, like creditors calling your grandma, paycheck gone before it lands, sleepless nights count as drowning. Sound familiar? Listen, you don't have to white-knuckle your way through this alone. Instead of spending years battling debt $1 at a time, I've got you. Bankruptcy isn't a failure, it's a fresh start. And sometimes hitting reset is the smartest thing you can do. At my law firm here in South Carolina, we take the time to listen to your story and help you figure out if bankruptcy is the right choice for you. No pressure, no judgment, just straight answers and real solutions. And if you don't live in South Carolina, don't worry. I can connect you with a trusted attorney in your state. Wherever you are, help is closer than you think. So if you're ready to stop the stress and start fresh, visit debtsucks.info to share a little about your situation or call my office for a free consultation. Let's find your path forward together, because sometimes you don't need a plan. You need a damn lifeline. Let me be that lifeline.
All right, before we wrap this up, let's take a breath for a second. Seriously, if today's episode had you mentally side-eyeing your spouse or replaying your last money argument in HD, unclench your jaw. Drop your shoulders, because awareness isn't conflict. It's the first step out of it. And what we talked about today, that's heavy work. So next week we shift gears a little, but in a way that builds right on top of this. We're moving into non-negotiable number 4 of the True Wealth Playbook, energy control wealth, or as I like to call it, I'm not exhausted all the time wealth. Because you can have money. You can even have a plan. But if your finances are draining your energy every single day, you're still stuck on the treadmill, sprinting, sweating, going absolutely nowhere. We're talking burnout, chronic financial stress, survival mode living, and how to stop running your life like you're being chased by a bill collector with a taser. So make sure you're subscribed, because this next piece builds directly on what we unpacked today. If this episode hit home, share it with the person you're building life with, because these conversations are easier when both people are hearing the same language. And if you want to go deeper, grab the Debt Sucks tools in the show notes. They're built to calm the chaos so your relationship can finally exhale. Here's what I know after almost 20 years of doing this work. You're not broken. Your system is just overwhelmed, and systems can be fixed. Money doesn't have to be the thing that pulls you apart. It can be the thing that brings you closer, because now you're on the same team, building the same future, fighting the same enemy. You've got this. So remember, adulting is hard. Debt makes it harder. But you don't have to let money wreck the people you love.